Welcome to Calling Your Life Your Shit 2.0 Electric Boogaloo? I don't know. But hello. Today we might cause some beef, but you know, it's got to be done. We'll be going through from Realm Reborn all the way to Endwalker and ranking each primal. I did miss out a few like trial bosses like Castro Meridium, but I figured, you know, they don't really count because there's no extreme mode, right? Well, we're gonna start off easy. Ifrit's a dog. I don't know, when I look at Ifrit, I don't think I want to tap that, you know? I don't know, he's like a dog, right? He's not trash, he's a dog. He's not bland because he's a dog. I feel like head pats, right? Tried to headbutt Ifrit, get burned. It'd be worth it though, I feel like. I feel like he's a good starting spot for what is like decent, but like we don't tap that. So next up, Chunky Titan. I don't know, like I love like Eden Titan, but he's just a chicken nugget. I love chicken nuggies, but I don't want to bang a chicken nugget, you know? Okay, next on Garuda. This is pretty easy, I feel like. I feel like it's easy which tier she's gonna go with. Ooh. She is sexy, but she still looks like a monster. That booty. Ooh. Like, sure, she screams at you a lot, but like, what if you were like her one and only, and she'd scream at others for you? That doesn't sound like a healthy relationship, but it'd be exciting. Next up, Mooglemog. It's not going any higher than that. I love the Moogles in Final Fantasy XII, but not these ones. I don't know, like, I was gonna make these tiers pretty mean, but I didn't want to be mean. What if someone's like coming in like, oh, King Mooglemog, that is my favorites fights. I want to cuddle them. And then we have it in like the tier, like, incinerate this until there's nothing left. Like, I feel bad. I'm very smart, you know this, I'm a genius, but I've been playing since Realm Reborn, and I only just realized now that isn't Ultima technically like a mecha centaur? Isn't he just a mecha centaur? Like, Ultima weapon, like, he's cool in the lore, but like I've never looked at him and thought, I want to tap that. If we pretend it was actually not just, you know, a suit that suckies other primals. I feel like he might go down depending on the other rankings, but for now, Leviathan. Leviathan wasn't my first love, but he was my first favorite primal. I like head pats. Like, every time he talks, I'm like, oh, he's badass, but he's just a big noodle, right? You can't really do much with a big noodle. So maybe if someone paid me, I would, but like, I wouldn't go out of my free will. So next up, Ramuh. I feel like if I don't put him here, you guys are gonna get angry, but I don't know, man. That beard is a bit much. Like, I like a beard, guys, but you could crawl inside there and like make a nice little like happy little ecosystem. It's that big. I was gonna put him lower, but because of you guys, he can go there. Okay, he's hiding some equipment. Oh my god, can you just imagine you just part the beard and it's just like this monster cock? Next up, Greg, Mr. Gilgamesh. He has potential, right? He has all those arms, but his personality makes him not tappable. For now, he might swap depending on what else gets put in here. Yeah, I put Ultros and Typhon together because they're together in the fight. I don't know if you guys have read the lore behind Typhon's mount, but he's actually a really nice person. Ultros is a creep, but he is a tentacle monster. I feel like you would go for the freaky times with Ultros, but you'd stay for Typhon. Okay, next one is Enkidu. This is hard. Enkidu is actually a snack and a half. I feel like he's better than Ultros. I guess we can put him in front. Okay, next up, Shiva. I would say how you're doing, but don't put your dick inside something that's made of ice. I feel like Shiva gets extra points because of the connection to Ysayle / Iceheart, who is a very good NPC. Okay, next up, Vishap. I feel like the amount of trauma he's inflicted on the player base, like, kinda like elevates him. Okay, for now, he might go up higher. Okay, next up, Odin. He doesn't have like a personality. You just find him in the woods. Here are my Viking attacks. Whatcha? Next up, I'm sorry for anyone who likes whales. Trash. Like, I liked him at the start, and then they showed us Ravana, and it's like, how can you compete, man? Okay, next one. If anyone is surprised of this, then they probably haven't known me long, but if you didn't see this coming, guys, then well, I guess you're new here. Next up, Thornton. I feel like Thornton's easy. It's a solid how you doing. Old man form, we don't talk about. And personality, we don't talk about because he's like king of bitches. But primal form, I think that's a solid how you do it. Next up, we have Dragon Daddy, Nidhogg. I feel like maybe head pats, like he's kind of dickish, but he's not bland or forgettable, and he's not trash tier. Can I ride you in a safer work way? Go flying through the sky. Next up, we have Nidstidian, aka Nidhogg when he's Acidian. That solid. How you doing? Next up, Sephiroth. I think I'm gonna shock absolutely no one. Boop. No, actually, maybe here. Sephiroth's really cool, but I don't really want to bang a tree that much. I don't think Husbando, but like I would spend a night with him, you know? Next up, Sophia. Sophia's a package deal, right? Like, I wouldn't tap Sophia and her daughter at the same time because that's incest, but have a night with Sophia, have a night with her daughter, which is a giant floating head with a giant tongue. Boop. Okay, next up, no shocker. Boop. Zervan, top tier. He is top bestest husbando. Next up, Susano. I think a lot of you guys want him here, but I think here. Susano's really fun and really cool, and he probably looked really good in a like an apron to welcome you home after a long day at work. But he's not my husbando. I'm sorry. Next up, Lakshmi. I think this is pretty obvious. I'm sorry. She goes in the trash only because concept art Lakshmi has a giant Lamia tail. Lamia's are legit my favorite monster waifu type with spider waifus. We get her in game, no tail. Where's the tail, man? Where's the tail, man? Next up, Shinyu. Shinyu, solid head pat. Shinyu makes it hard, right? Kappa. I feel like he's more than a dragon because he's technically a guy, but also dragon. Once again, I don't think I would bang a giant dragon. Tsukiyomi. This is hard. She's really pretty. I think head pats. I guess we can do how you doing. I feel like if she was, in her right mind, she was like, you want to make out? I'd be like, let's do it. I wouldn't like aggressively be like, let's make out. Next up, Byakko. I think that one's easy as well. Whoop. I mean, I'm not into the cat hand, but everything else in Byakko is very nice. So he's gonna go straight to husbando, I think. His music is really good too. Daddy, sorry. Father. Meow. Suzaku. I'm sorry, I think a lot of people like Suzaku, but she belongs there. She's defined by how much she loves Tenzin. It's cute that she really has a hard-on for him. I don't want to I'm not into NTR, Basically, NTR is Next up, Seiryu. If we're talking about Japanese audio Seiryu, he would be a head pat. But English voice Seiryu, I think I'd tap that. Okay, next up, Rathalos. This one's easy. Head pat. Do not bang the good Monster Hunter Dragon. Sure, he fucked us several times because that fight synced. Oh! Okay, next up, this is from the Mandeville story again, so some people might not know. He did appear in Kugane Castle as the last boss, and also in the Slices, right? But Yojimbo, we tap that. He's like a badass mercenary samurai. Like, who wouldn't want to tap that at least once, Okay, next up, Titania. They are pretty, they have a nice voice, but they kind of just want to murderize you. There's ooh, will I get murdered? Like Ravana, and then there's 100% you want to be murdered. And there's a difference between will I or will I definitely. Okay, next up, Innocence. This one's hard, right? This one's hard. On one hand, we know who Innocence is, so personality-wise, he's trash tier. But he does look like Griffith and Alucard from Castlevania had a love child. I'll just write in the paint, still hot though. He's he's hot trash. Okay, next up, we have Hades. This one's also easy. I feel like this one's pretty damn easy. Whoop. You have, 3 different forms to have a fun time with? It's pretty fucking nice, dude. Compare that with the voice that Hades has. Ooh! And that music. Ooh! Okay, next up, Ruby Weapon. I'm not usually into that kind of silhouette, but I think how you doing for normal Ruby Weapon? Of all the weapons, I feel like he's the best of looking scary and humanoid while still being not. Next up though, we have Phase 2 Ruby Weapon. Bam. Every time I do that fight, it's ooh. That smile she does, when the face change happens. Oh, I am interested, my lady. That Ruby Weapon looks heavy. Allow me to hold it for you. Next up, we have Warrior of Light. I think how you doing as well. He's a bit too pretty for me usually. I'm not like super into pretty boys. And his voice in Japanese, he sounds like a goddamn isekai protagonist, but he's pretty badass. So I think, you know, I'd tap that, but I don't think I would marry that. Okay, next up, Emerald Weapon. Easy. Trash. God, I hate that fight. I hate that fight so much. That is the last dragon I'm gonna farm. I hate that fight. It's so boring. Okay, next up, Diamond Weapon. I'm not sure with Diamond Weapon. Because on one hand, Diamond Weapon is basically Ifrit. He's a reskin and then he's just a floating dude. Okay, next up, this one, not gonna surprise anyone. EX1 from Endwalker. You just put this here. I fucking love this primal and the fight and the voice acting in Japanese. Holy shit. I had a weenie, that weenie would have been very excited. Okay, this next one I'm going to get a lot of hate for. I'm sorry, but EX2 belongs in the trash. I don't like games or media forms where you kinda, you know, you get told, okay, this is your god, do what your god says. I don't really like that. And her design, she's just pretty. I want to roundhouse kick her in the head most of the time. Last up, EX3. In terms of personality, I'm not a fan, but the design is very iconic Final Fantasy. I'm not a fan of the whole 11th hour, you know, villain thing they did with it, and the design is just so peak Final Fantasy that I think how you doing? Like this version at least, not the blue one. We don't talk about the blue one. Is there anything you want to shuffle around? Ta-da! I think this is our finished tier list. I know I broke all of your hearts by not putting her here, but I am sorry. Please do not stab me. Please do not hate me. I just have a different opinion to it.